Good morning, everyone. This is Refresh Coffee Time. Welcome to our Saturday talk. Refresh Coffee Time comes to you through Refresh organizers and designers. And today we're going to talk about creating your home office. So let me put this in the right place. There we are. Right now, the home office is, I believe, is one of the most important spaces people are considering, because a lot of us are still working at home and will probably continue doing so. So the issue of how to start thinking about it, transform parts of your home if you don't have a separate space. I'm going to focus a little more on exactly that, because if you have a separate space, it's more of an issue of getting that space designed in a better way, maybe, if you will, or reconsider options. But if you don't have a separate space, then it becomes more challenging how to adapt your home, right, for different functions. And, you know, for those who are not so focused on the home office, you might think, instead of home office, you might think, okay, I want a space to be more flexible. I gave a talk about this a couple of months ago here. And so I'm going to be using elements of those presentations. So what we do at Refresh is really to create a home and spaces that restore balance and energy for our clients. And we do that by designing spaces that align specifically with you, your desired style, and your functionality, your sense of functionality. And we work along basically 4 lines that I tried to depict in this image. Organization, which is, for me, actually where every design starts, because if you have a cluttered environment, it becomes very difficult to make something that truly is going to represent you and work for you. Architecture, because the context of everything we do is architecture. It makes a lot of difference if you live in a flat or you live in a home, the style of the home, the proportions, the heights, so basically we all deal with architecture and how to incorporate what we want into the architecture that we live in. And being an architect myself, having that as a background, I really see everything I do in the context of what we can do with the architecture around us and that we inhabit. Color palette, because color palette is really the super sauce in our lives. Like, it really can make us energize, it can make us collapse, feel so really knowing what your palette is and how you react towards certain colors or color combinations is very important. Is really something that is super fun. I love thinking in terms of colors. I share with Alan the love for colors. So how to really do that for you, and each person is a different story, is something that I really enjoy a lot. And interior design, of course, is the art of getting all these elements together into something that works for you. So just to give you a background of how I think about this. So I was doing the little bit of a research on what to talk about and how to put certain questions out there for you so that you have tools to start thinking about your own situation. And I came across this newsletter that I just received, and it seems that the focus, as I was saying before, on the home office and making the home office into something that is really serene and that really works for you, that supports your needs in terms of space and how to make you more productive. So you see a lot of imagery out there and a lot of products being created to support exactly that, how to make your home situation into one that can support you when you have activities. So that was a fun image. So some of you might remember my talk about the first talk I gave about home offices. And I talked about 5 issues that you should consider before even starting. So, you know, the mindset thing is really a very important thing during these times. We are all under a lot of stress. I talk with a lot of different people, and we all agree on the amount of stress that we are really having to endure right now. So it's important also when you do an activity in your home, especially a work activity, that you have certain rituals that you do so that you can transition from your home situation into your office and vice versa. So that you also have times that you will relax and re-energize yourself in your home. So your home must be the place where you really feel supported right now with so much stress out there. And location is about placement in your home of your activities like work. And I'm specifically talking about work today. You can always do a test, run tests, just do a very simple floor plan. I like measuring things. That's my nature. My eyes measure when I'm looking at things. When I visit a client, when I go somewhere and someone asks me a question, my eyes immediately are measuring and looking at proportions and looking at colors and seeing if that makes sense for the person I'm working with, or there's a gap between what the person desires and what I'm seeing. So that is something that is like immediate with me. So my floor plans are always measured, but you can do a little sketch also just to have an idea if what you're planning, oh, it's a floor plan and not pan, sorry about that. So that is important to do, just to check before you start moving things around or buying things that will not fit in your space, right? That's the most important thing here. And then, of course, storage is queen for me always. It's about containing what you have and organizing it in such a way that it really is not in your way, right? And then the last point is really lighten up, enjoy the process, choose things that really make sense for you, reuse things that you have, have pleasure in transforming your home. I know that for a lot of people, transformation is a challenge. That's why we're here. We're trying to support you with that. But if you see it as a fun thing, it can be a delight to create a new space. So this is like a collection of images where you can see the different organizations. When I talk about organization, guys, it's not about something is right or I only see organization in one way. I have my preferences. I'm more of a minimalist. So I like the less is more. All my surfaces are always clean as much as I can. I have habits and rituals to come back to these things and keep myself in check. But it's different for each person. And so you see in this series of images that each situation is a little bit different. You have situations in which the space is very clean. There's hardly anything in there, not so much texture, not so much colors. Other places is more vibrant. People really like plants around them. So it goes with gradations to the point of one of the images here where you have a lot of different elements, a lot of visual things. Some people really like that, as long as you keep it in check in a way that it's easily maintained and it's not in the way of what you want to do. It's all good, right? But have your system. That's the bottom line of this slide. Have your system, because then the more you have your systems, understand what makes you tick in that sense, the better it is for you. The better it will work, the better you will feel, the more productive, the easier transitions and all of that. So here you see a couple of solutions also. I was doing a check a furniture tech, and more I'm seeing different shops coming with suggestions, like, you know, this wall mounted desk with a panel. You have different things that really fold down as a table as you need it, and if not, it can be the mirror you see in this image, or several other solutions. You can have walls in which you uh, store all your work material, like the image in the middle. You know, it looks nice and clean. It has, you know, a board where you can put your reminders and your stickies and things like that. So there's a lot of things out there. So know that this is the time. If you want to transform your home and have a home office, there is a lot out there that you can just buy right out of a shop. And if not, you know, you'll need perhaps a designer that helps you with a design for your specific situation if it is a more challenging thing, right? And I spoke before about all the other things that you can do to organize your space and to make the transitions. So if you're working in your living room or somewhere else, you can have like totes, you can have systems where you can also have your files. You know, you have numerous solutions out there. It will all depend on your specific situation. I was giving a talk yesterday, and someone asked, so what is your preferred thing for incoming posts? And I was going, well, you know, I don't have a preferred things for incoming posts, because as I said before, I like clean surfaces. So what I force myself to do is to have really very few objects on my table. So when I have paper on my table that comes in, it's immediately an action item. So it will sit there for a couple of days, and after that, it is just I paid the bill, or I put it in my filing system, or I throw it away. I really have habits not to accumulate too much. I really don't like stacks of paper. That's me personally. Other people can live with stacks for a little longer. So once again, it's about your system. And then at that point, you'll need a little box, or you need something to put your incoming posts and other things in. And they are out there. I mean, they're adorable examples. I just don't use them. One thing that I really value is to understand the color sensitivity of the people I work with. It can be so different. You have general ideas about color out there. That's the image on the right. So certain colors will really bring you into certain moods. At least we in this culture believe that. So it works in that way. Like, you want to have an active space, use colors like orange and yellow, because it will activate you. We feel that, you know, the color is vibrant, and you feel immediately that you're activated. So I won't name brands, but there is a gem out there that has orange as their brand, because that activates people. If you want a more calmer palette, because you need a more serene environment, then you're going to be in another part of the spectrum with colors. So it's very important to understand what your comfort zone is regarding to colors, and how to combine it. I mean, I'm not saying, okay, if you want a serene space, everything is going to be earth colors and you don't use vibrant colors. No, but maybe your first image of the space is more serene, with second and third levels of that space having the added color. That is something that I use a lot in staging, for instance, because that really gives the staging a little more, let's say, salsa, a little more spice, but at the same time, it's also restful, and it doesn't clog the imagery, right? But it all depends on you. What is it that you need to feel productive, to feel supported in your space? What kind of color environment is your thing, right? And here we have a couple of examples of just the primary colors and how they can be used, from really having bright red walls with contrasting green furniture pieces and detailing, to having things that are much softer, using the same red perhaps, or the yellow, but not really in the same gradation. So it's all a matter of composing the space for you, what makes sense to you and what is appealing to you, right? If you like more color, you'll gravitate towards the possibility of having at least one accent wall with a stronger color. If that is not the case, you want things that are more pastel or more neutral, with soft elements, just addressing a little bit of color in your environment. So know that about yourself, and know what your tolerance is in transforming your space. Very important before you start anything, by the way. So here you have a couple of different solutions in terms of how to utilize space when it comes to interior design. You might have, under your stairs, a space that you can utilize for, a home office. Or you have, as the image in the middle, a former closet, or something that divides one room for another. You can utilize that as a space. Or even a wall where a simple set of shelves would already work for you, for your home office, So there are so many solutions out there that look really great and that will serve you. So it's all a matter of getting those charted for you, if you will. So here also, the shared space is something that I've been focusing on today. On the left, you see that the home office is integrated in the living room. This person probably doesn't live with a big family, so it looks very neat and composed. And the other one is the famous room that someone has, where you have perhaps a guest room that you combine with your office space. So once again, you see here different palettes in terms of color use and composition and all of that. So it's all a matter of really starting by what makes sense for you. What I like to do for people is to find solutions for all our electronics. So bundle your cords, put your printers away if you can, that you have a space that is adapted to transition. I mean, you don't want to see your printer in the living room, right? After working hours. You want to live in a space that is adapted to you also relaxing, as I said in the beginning. It's very important to have moments where you're not confronted with your activities or your hobbies or anything like that. It's just a place for you to recharge and to really relax with your family and with the people that you have around you, especially now. Thank you very much. This was Refresh Coffee Time of this Saturday. We are here every Saturday for you with a different topic and also different speakers. So now I'm going to open, I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to open for questions.
Good morning. Terrific. I'm even taking notes.
That's good, Alan.
You enjoy sort of outline the five levels of commitment, so to speak, to doing it in the first place. I mean, that's a good thing that I can talk to my clients about, because I run into clients all the time that have stuff in the middle of the room. They got 3 kids at home.
Yes.
Oh my God. They're working. They try. I love the understairs or in a closet concept. It's already out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rather than trying to stick it out in the middle of the room or in the
kitchen.
Oh, that's the worst place in the world.
Yeah, that is, I think,
the kitchen table, and it's like, well,
yes. I mean, I've been really studying on this. As I mentioned before, being Dutch gives me a lot of opportunity to think about this, because In Holland, we have so little territory. Everything is so small. Housing is
Right.
also small that you have to think in terms of transitions, how to really utilize a space in more than one way and how to make that happen, right?
Right.
So I'm always looking for solutions in terms of, okay, most of us here live in cities, you know, in more concentrated areas. So that means automatically that you don't have like a mansion. Most people have limited space. So how can you optimize that, you know? So yeah, that's absolutely something that I'm focused on.
Yeah, I have two clients who bought sheds and put them in the backyard. Uh, Giant plastic sheds with sloped roofs. Put them in the backyard. That's their office. And if it gets cold, you know, they just wear more clothes. There's holes drilled in the side for electricity, but you know, it's all they had. They just couldn't do it inside. You know, the place was too small. But the shed concept is, you know, not a bad concept if you have to do it outside. It's quick and easy. You can get one for about $800. It's big. Like
You
Wow.
put down you put down a concrete slab for that?
don't put anything. You just excavate, put some gravel, a little excavation and some gravel, and just set it down there.
Yeah.
It's basically they're potting sheds, but there are many choices online. Uh, you know, all the way up to $5,000 or $6,000 for something you can live in,
Oh, I've
and they
seen some
come in
beautiful
kits.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Wow.
kits.
And Alan, so you've been working with that. That's quite interesting to hear that. So do you have to go through a procedure with the local government, or are you allowed to just
No, you
throw
can put a
in?
shed up anywhere.
All
Yeah,
right.
you can put a shed anywhere.
Okay.
It's a potting shed. It's not a living space. No permits required.
Yeah. And so,
Prefabricated building.
but you
And
cannot put, can you put like a bathroom in there or
no,
no? Yeah.
no, no
So that,
plumbing.
no plumbing. So when you include plumbing, that's when you have to go to local government, right? You have to
Correct.
go through the procedure. Yeah.
Correct. And
That's I.
any electrical other than an extension cord.
You could get a
Oh,
self-composting toilet if you wanted to,
Yeah, yeah, you can. Yeah,
I
but
have
those
a
they're
are
legal
friend who's
awfully
anywhere now.
cold in the winter,
Yeah.
yeah.
damp and cold.
I think Kim has a question.
Well, I was just going to mention I have a friend who's been doing the physical distancing gatherings in her backyard, and she bought one of those camping toilets. And I happened to look online just to see what they were like these days, and some of them don't look too bad. So that is an option too. But I did have a question. I was just curious. I like the idea of putting the printer in a drawer. Do you typically drill holes to keep it connected, or do you just unplug it and then take it out where you need to actually use it?
Well, as I see it, the best solution is to have a hole so that you don't see it from the front. But I'll let Alan talk to this because he's more specialized. But I prefer that, you know, the
Yeah, me
cleaner
too.
it is and the more promptly usable things are, the better. And you have some media furniture pieces out there that already come with the holes in the back, right? So,
Yeah, that's a good thought. The media.
Just put a
uh,
hole in the back. It's very easy, and just don't want just don't jam the furniture up against the wall. You have to pull it away from the wall a little bit to leave room for the cord. But we've done things very much like that, installing electronics in drawers, especially
Yeah,
home stereo systems. Uh, I mean, I was an electronics technician for 10 years, and we installed a lot of home stereos, and it was the same thing. Everybody wants the stuff out of the way. Um, so if you put it in drawers, you have to put holes. You have to account for the fact that the drawer's going in and out. So you got to have some slack in the wires. You know, mechanical things to think about, but it's very common, easily
yeah.
done.
For printers, you also need to have the height because you're putting the paper usually up like this.
Right.
Some of them you stick in, flat, but you need the height, and then if where the paper's going to come out, you need to have enough room for that. I mean, maybe if you open the door and that little slot is pulled out of the printer. I'm looking at mine as we speak. And yeah,
Well, it
I think
starts
you need a
by
tray, a pull-out tray rather than a drawer.
yeah, you start by considering if you don't have a printer, then you can really do it perfectly. I mean, you can do it from the beginning. But if you already have a printer and are planning to keep it, then you should really look at all these things that Gary is mentioning. I would suggest if you have to buy a printer and you want a solution like that, you would prefer to have something that doesn't have a vertical paper feed, and it would be a frontal paper feed, and you have very small compact models right now, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
I just recently got a new printer and it's pretty small. It doesn't have one of those drawers that pulls out when it prints. It just prints like right on top. Um, but it happens to be sitting on a table that is right above a metal file cabinet. But then there's another desk that I could potentially drill holes in. So I think just I'll have to consider moving it to a different location.
yeah, plus how much do you use the printer? Is when you're sitting at your
Not.
desk or doing your work, if it's
Mhm.
very occasional, I mean, you could even put it in the closet if there's something to put it on top of, and then take the power cord and find a way to plug it in there. If there's a bulb in there or something like that, you can do some kind of a little roll-in thing with it. I don't know. There's a lot of
Well,
ways to do it.
we did it for a client. I remember one client we had that she had a home office. This was a separate room, and we redid her home office, added some furniture, and her whole closet, because it was a regular room. Her whole closet was her supplies closet,
Right.
and we put the printer in there so that whenever she needed a print, it was a matter of opening the door. And her activity didn't involve printing necessarily every day, so that was quite easy. It depends on, once again, the person you're working with, right, and the needs you have. So there's not really one solution for everyone. You have to kind of figure out, what do I need, and try to match that to a solution. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much out there that can hardly imagine that someone comes with a problem that we cannot address. I mean,
Remember, we all used to have fax machines.
uh,
Got one. I love it. Yeah,
yeah.
Oh
I still
man,
use it. Yeah.
You
really?
still use a fax
Combination
machine?
printer, fax,
Oh my
scanner, and printer.
God. Yeah. I,
E-fax.
yeah. Gosh, there might be people out there that don't even know what fax is.
Yeah.
I find it very handy.
You,
Once a month, once a month, I'll have to fax something, or I get a fax from somebody.
oh, really? Oh
Yeah.
my God. I haven't done, I didn't
Oh,
like faxing at all. I thought it was so not Star Trek, to put it that way. I mean, I thought, you
well, there
know,
was no alternative.
yeah, yeah.
So you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
let me see. We have
that one person left, whoever that was,
yeah,
the
I have
anonymous in.
the anonymous in. I wonder why someone wants to keep anonymous, but she liked the session, so that's really nice to know. Yeah, I'm so accustomed to seeing everyone during the call that it's kind of interesting. But anyways, I'm happy it served the person that was here. So yeah, so it's really fascinating to be living during this period and considering all the options that we can create, and supporting people.
Right. But we were lucky when we moved into this house. This room I'm sitting in was already here. And it was completely raw, open space. You could see through the walls to the framing and the dirt underneath the garage. I'm underneath my garage.
Mm-hmm.
And this room is kind of a mezzanine in between the first and second floor.
Yeah,
And we just made it an office. That's boom. And behind
that's
me, you can see
great.
is the laundry room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So this room is really fabulous.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
your
Well, that's what,
office.
two computers in here, filing cabinet. We
yeah.
just got lucky that the space was here.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
primarily your own? Is it your own little crib?
Yep. World headquarters right here.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. You are one of these people like we that always had a home office. I mean,
Always
it
have a home office.
comes a little bit with the kind of activities that we do, you
Yep.
know. I don't remember, I had very few work situations that I did not do from my home office. I had home offices everywhere. When I lived in Europe, several, I had no, actually, I had one amazing office that I created totally from scratch with furniture from the municipality of Rotterdam. And that was a really great story because this was a building that they were going to redo. It was in an area that now, if you come there, it's amazing. The area is totally redone in terms of urban environment. But at the time, this was like a measure that the municipality was doing to avoid people really um, occupying the building, right?
Oh, right.
So
Squatter.
yeah, squattering, yeah, urban squattering. So they I think our rent was close to nothing, if it was something, maybe water and light or something. But so we painted the whole space, and then I was looking for furniture, and the administrator said, you know what, uh, on level -2 we have all the furniture from the municipality of Rotterdam that they don't want, no longer want. And they had amazing furniture pieces, really directors tables for 20 people, you know, meeting
Probably
rooms
had
and
stuff from the 40s and things like that, right?
all mid-century. I had
Yeah.
like, I've never had such beautiful furniture. I
Yeah.
said, well, if you don't have any use for this, let's just shove it up there, right?
Yeah.
I was
Well,
really,
where I used to work over near Ashby and San Pablo at Plastic Works, there was across the back street, there was a storage area for UC Berkeley, and they had every so often would have these sales of excess stuff. And one time they had all these incredible Knoll style chairs
Oh my
out
God.
there, you know, the bent plywood,
Yeah.
like a dummy. I mean, you know, I just didn't have any more room. I didn't want to collect stuff. They were amazing. They were amazing. It's one of those things, you know.
No.
yeah, I bet the university here also must have storage rooms full of furniture that might be interesting, you know, and the
Yeah.
local government. But anyway, let's come back to our theme of today. I'm the first one to always be talking too much, but anyway, any more questions or things that you would like to share?
Not me. I'm good. I had a good week. Accomplished a variety of things. That's one of the things about my business I like the most is the ridiculous variety. Just amazing how different the stuff is that we do.
Hmm.
But we've had a very good week. Finished the job yesterday, which I like. I like to finish on Friday. I hate to go back on Monday or Tuesday for some small nagging thing, but so we managed to finish completely. Um, and then we start a brand new job on Thursday. That's a big job, going to be a couple of weeks. And I have some filler work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Oh, that's good. And what kinds of jobs are you doing right now, Alan?
Oh,
What are
just name something. Let's see. New
Cross
trim,
section.
adding a trellis, uh, rotten siding, T111 siding. I don't know if you know what that is. It's that
Yeah.
vertical
Hate that stuff.
plywood with the vertical lines in it. Uh, a little bit of um, irrigation repair. The gardener screwed up some irrigation and didn't know how to fix it. So we fix that. Gates and fences, collapsing deck, all for the same client.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
Bunch of stuff.
That's
So we
nice.
do the gamut. I'm putting in new windows on Monday. We're fixing a door threshold. Uh, just endless kinds of repair. Just point to something in your house that's broken, and we've probably fixed it at some point,
Wow.
That's great to hear all that
including
product.
electrical work. And the thing that we do, the one electrical thing we probably do the most is adding receptacles. Putting, if you want to put something in your closet,
Yeah.
you know, can I have 3 receptacles in my closet? There's a way, we can get them in there, especially
Speaking
you got to
about
put it in the door.
receptacles, aren't there some they're like uh, satellite receptacles? You can somehow they hook up to another receptacle without hard wiring.
There are remote, but they have to be hardwired at some point. But you can remotely control them. So if you
Hmm.
got a light plugged into it, and you can't run a switch leg,
Yeah.
because when you have a light, you have to have a switch leg.
Yeah.
Say you've got a live receptacle high on the wall in an office, and you want to have a light on it. You can put a light in it that uses and you can put in a receptacle that's remote, so you can turn the receptacle on and off. But if you need to have a switch leg, then you got to start digging in the wall.
Yeah.
So the remote is to just avoid having to put in a switch leg.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Wow.
which brings me to the question of, have you been asked lately to do a lot of those, let's say, intelligent homes where everything is like, you have like the security and you have the, all the
Music
things, music and lights, and everything is controlled by your app, or, your phone, or
or your
your
voice.
your voice, or are you doing a lot of those?
We don't install any of that. We do some troubleshooting if they have an existing system and they don't have a good relationship with the installer, or they bought the house and they don't know who installed it, and we're there doing something else. They'll ask us. Between my partner Bob and I, we know a lot about electronics in general, so we can troubleshoot it, but we don't install them. It's a real discipline. Requires a lot of special equipment, um, but we do have clients that have rooms full of monitoring electronic devices and miles of cable that come
Mm,
from the house in general.
yeah.
So
Oh,
we'll do a little troubleshooting, but we don't do any installation. We do
Yeah.
install the next doorbells.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
We install a lot of those.
Yeah.
Kim, do
Wow.
you have any of those things? Is your home a home where you talk to Alexa and you get all sorts of things done, and you have Alexa giggling at night, or do you have any of that?
Got it, and we didn't really use it, and I didn't really like the idea of it that much. I just kind of felt like it was too much of an invasion of privacy. But we do have the Nest thermostat. We've had it for many years, and we love it because um, a lot of times we're going back and forth between Berkeley and Sebastopol, and so we can heat up the house when we come back, like in the wintertime especially. The house doesn't keep, it's not fully insulated. It's an old cottage house, and
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately in Sebastopol we don't have the ability to have the Nest work with our propane gas fireplace, which is the primary heating source for the house.
Uh-huh.
I highly recommend it. I mean, I think that we've been able to save a lot of money by using it, because we can adjust it from wherever we are, just from our phone,
Hmm.
turning it higher or lower, or like if we forget to turn it off. It's really, really great. And I think the initial investment years ago was not very much. And I know now Nest has capabilities to combine with security, and we haven't done that. We have Bay Alarm that we've had since 2014, I think. But um, do you guys happen to know Chris DeGrego? He's in BNI in the City Center chapter. He does home security,
No.
and he does commercial and residential. So he can probably help any clients, that are interested in home security systems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
There is one a modern gadget I really like. Again, it connects to the telephone, and it's a water sensor. Uh, if any water hits it, it calls your telephone.
Mm.
And I've had many clients over the years who've been on vacation and had a pipe burst in the underneath the toilet or underneath the sink, and the water goes spraying everywhere. And you put one of those underneath the toilet, in the back of the toilet. You put one in the kitchen cabinet underneath the sink, and it goes off if any water hits it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Put
I've
it
never-
near your sump pump in the middle of the winter, huh?
Sorry?
Put it near your sump pump.
Yeah,
You'll know when it's overflowing or
that's
broken.
right. Yeah, that's a clever gadget, I think. I recommend those.
Mm. You have to plug them in, or are
No.
they on battery?
It just sits there with a little battery in it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Mm,
That's really good.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll remember that. That's
Yeah.
very good.
Well, we have an interesting week ahead. We have a staging job up in Nevada, which is probably the furthest of our, areas where we might travel to. But it's not too bad going that way, just above
Nevada's
San
pretty
Rafael. And then that's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, Thursday, we're working right up the road. As a matter of fact, we tried to get you involved on that project, Alan, for Sabiha.
Oh yeah, sure.
So we're going to be working there. And that was pretty interesting walking into that house and
Isn't that
seeing it.
amazing?
This is being recorded, by the way.
Yeah. Walking in and seeing some of the things on the walls in there, some of the awards and things like that.
Yeah,
Impressive
very.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great house. It's a spectacular house.
And it's going to be even more crazy.